Okay, so we actually had to do a cut there. I had a couple bugs I had to deal with, and I had a couple things to deal with, and now we're a couple days later to deal with. So, let me go through this. So, workplaces, right? Showing you guys how to do a strike. It's quite simple. You just go to your workplaces, and it gives you a pop-up of a flat amount. And that's coordinated with there's a formula with regard to the sector share and the members and the various laws that are in place. But let's say Novomark, they're not paying us what we deserve, and we strike them. Now, we are currently expending part of our revenue. Now, in the first half of this video, this was not the same. There was just a flat number. And I realized on further and further developing this, fleshing out this idea of a concept, that another game that I had played did this concept poorly, along with many other concepts. And the reason is, number one, if it's just the amount of workers, and like countries like India has so many workers, and they obviously don't make 25 bucks a day to be able to pay in union dues, etc., etc., because the standard of living. So I actually changed the formula, and this is something new we're testing out. It might not stay, it might get tweaked again, because I am trying to sort of improve upon the systems as well while I'm playtesting it, while others are playtesting it. But this is what it currently is. You probably would have saw earlier in the first half that this was way much larger number than what it is now. And so these are the strike wages. So to get back on topic, the strike wages, okay? This is how much it costs the union to upkeep. And even though my treasury has a lot of funds in it right now, it's because of the sort of the before the balancing act. And I can't really affect that now because people have already invested in unions. So upon reset, this might look more reasonable for the cost. But corporations can also fight back, and I should also have some. I should make a corporation and then do a segment on that when I cover corporations, and I probably will actually. It won't be in this video because I'll need to set up the corporation, do all the busy work, and I'm trying to just get this done and over with before I tweak the system even more. Then I have to scrap the whole video. And so, anyways, you go here, and you can go to the sector page. This will just take you to the sector page, right? And this is the sector that we are currently striking in, and it's highlighted in red. If you go to the margin, the union strike, there's another formula here as well, where it's the proportion of union workers that are proportion of workers that are unionized compared to the workforce, and then the various laws and there's other stats as well. And so let's say I want to be devious, I want to hurt them even more. I can organize within the state on that sector. And upon the next refresh tick for the corp turns, that profit margin should get even lower because now I have even a larger percentage that is unionized. That will inflict more pain. So yeah, that's the other aspect of it. This is not what I wanted. You know what? I should just upgrade this page too. Sorry, I'm fucking about. What was it going? I'm going back to the unions. So yeah, that's how you do strikes to end a strike. So notice how it consumes both resource types: the organizing power, which is the principal, and then the income type from the union dues from the members, right? And there's a lot I could improve on this, and I will. I'm trying to get this to a good place. I'm going to continue developing and refine it until I think it's, quasi perfect. But let's go to these settings, okay? You can add a description, add a logo. This talks about the approval. You have a union song too. This is whatever. You change the headquarters to whatever state you want to do. The headquarters has a bonus, an organizing bonus. So kind of like, I guess the meta would be everyone goes to California and fights over those sectors. But if everyone's doing it, then it's not the meta, right? So So if I want to raise, and these are artificial caps that we put in just for balance. And as I said before, union dues directly affect the union approval. So now I've maxed it out. My union approval goes down to 51%. If I go look at the union, these workplaces are going to slowly drift down to, 52%, because that is my approval. And then wages as well. I forgot about that. Wages also affect this. So if I get to increase the amount of wages my average member is making, and I could probably put some UI on this page that'll show the wages, and that'll make it easier for unions to be able to target people. I think I'll do that. But right now, yeah, this is how it current is in the system. It's very important because of the union distributions, the lobbying distributions. Another thing, see, this won't matter because it's already there. But another thing, a couple things actually. So we'll go here. So we got a couple things that we gotta discuss before we head off. So, state law. Where's union rights? Right here. So, the states can ban union rights and ban unions from existing in the state. They also have like 6 other options, which have other modifiers. The anti-union makes it easier for corporations to do union busting and harder for unions to organize. And then on the opposite end of the spectrum, for pro-unions, legislation allows them to organize easier and to be able to resist corporations busting their unions up. So that's sort of how that works. Let's go over here to the laws. The union lobbying. Let me know when you spot it. We're gonna do some so we have union rights. This is the same as the states one, right? Where's union lobbying? There it is. So right now, default is unrestricted, but Congress, and along with the 3 branches of government, and as well for parliaments, they can ban unions from being able to do union distributions, the lobbying. So that just makes it so they're more for the worker, and they sort of have a focused aspect. So they don't do any political contributions. And so that directly affects this. All right. So if Congress were to ban it in this law type, then I would not be. This would be set to the federal law would make it restricted or prohibited or have a moratorium on it, and this would be set to 0. So there's no aspect of that. But this is sort of it's a good push and pull, I feel. Additionally, let's go to the economy of Texas. Let's go to retail. Okay. So previously, and I don't know if you saw in the first fat half of this video, but previously I had this sector unionized. That's a large sector to have unionized, right? So another aspect of this, you might wonder, why can't I unionize this sector? Well, you can't unionize that sector because it's owned by it's owned by sort of like the stand-in for the market share, which is the national corporation, which is the United States. So that's why you can't unionize that. In addition, unions are banned. So when unions are banned federally, that means no unions can be created. This will not be allowed. And mind you, it's not banned federally. But when it is, no unions are able to be created. Now, all the unions that are already made, they can still exist. They won't be able to do anything. So they'll just sit around with their treasuries and their leadership until the law is changed. And that's an important update we added yesterday. I got a couple of suggestions for people. I immediately threw that shit. And I cooked with it. I probably need to organize the law cedar now too. But, yeah, we're starting to see some other countries start their unions. Really, how the gameplay should work is when the game starts, parties make the left-right equivalent of each union type. You know, so if Democrats are in media, the Republicans are in media, and so there's like a competition therein for workers, and then thusly for the workers, and thusly for the como se dice, como se llama, the worker share, and then the lobbying benefits. And the funny thing is, right? Let's say two of these go head to head, right? The people who invest. So let's say this union is versus this union, okay? Whoever is a union member of the losing one, they just lose completely. So there's like multiple aspects of warfare. So like let's say someone wanted to kill my union, right? And I have 1,000 influence. That's like 1,000 of my political capital that I've wasted on boosts for the union. That if it's a dead union, it's a dead union, and you could inject campaign funds to it via this card. But is it really worth it? You know. And also another aspect of this is the compensation package. Just sort of mimics the behavior from CEOs, with CEOs being able to get paid a wage for doing the job that they do. So this is also similar to that as well. So there's multiple levels to this. Also, if you're a union, if you're a CEO, and yeah, I'm in the sector type with my union, you probably want to be a member to try to flex some influence. Be like, hey, if you know, I'll support you if you don't strike me out or whatever. That's sort of the gameplay that we want to see. So the gameplay we want to see is CEOs either collaborating or fighting back against unions and doing all the subterfuge there that's involved with that. And then the other side of the coin is the political parties backing one union over the other to get market share. So it's sort of like another proxy fight behind the scenes. And yeah, I'm gonna keep on with my nose to the grindstone here. I'm working on these other countries, trying to get images. It's such meticulous work, but everything seems to be working out pretty good so far. Some minor bugs, to be sure, but nothing I can't handle. I need to determine, like, some of these countries I should shrink. There's a weird little balancing act I have to do with regard to the NPCs, which they are a really cool mechanic, and I'll talk about them in another video. And then sort of making the country smaller so it doesn't seem such a gargantuan task for players to go in there by themselves, you know. But bots are really good too, because if, let's say, you know, let's look at France, right? I'm sure France has this sort of situation, right? There's like 10 people in this one. Oh, that's not bad actually. But let's say there was like 10 people in this one and 1 person in this one. So let's say there's like a one-party role. Like there's another example that's probably better. Like, you know, let's say South Korea maybe. Give me some. Okay, but let's even use this as an example, right? 2 people here, 1 person here, kind of unfair. This allows him to make bots that can support him. So let's say there was nobody in this party. You could join and make a bunch of bots to support you, and then that might attract other players there. So it's sort of like breaking the ceiling. And our bot logic is pretty pristine. I will say it's pretty nice. So I'm gonna leave the video off here. I think I covered everything I wanted to cover with regard to the unions. If there's anything else you can ask, leave a comment, or I have a question, do it in the Discord. I want to cover this so people understand this new concept. I'm going to try to be doing this more and more, because some stuff it's fun to like feel out and play the game, and some stuff it's not fun because things might not be as refined. So I think it's important for me to talk about these mechanics, and then we can improve upon them. Like I had like 4 suggestions yesterday that I thought were really great ideas, which I implemented. And you're going to see these systems change over time as well with balance, because balance is paramount. We want to make sure everything's nice and good, and not broken and abusable. I've played other games where these mechanics are really easy to abuse, and it's great when you're the one abusing them. Not so much fun when you're on the victim side of the equation. So yeah, that'll be this video. I'm gonna merge them and Hopefully it won't be too long.